I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore.
Can you hear me? You shouldn't be able to hear me. Why is that?
We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I don't really know what just happened there with the theme song. I don't know. We're having some weird things going on. I don't really know what's happening, but we'll figure that out. Welcome. This is the 547th episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. And as you can see, we did not get our hairs cut today or shave. I think I'm having a war with myself, ladies and gentlemen. Part of me is wanting to go in and get it done so badly, and the other part of me is fighting it and just fighting it. And that's kind of going to be a little bit of what we're going to be talking about tonight, and I'll get to that more here in just a bit. It plays into what we're talking about, and we talk about this every so often here on the show, but it's really happening bigly right now, so we'll talk to you all about that here in a minute. Welcome. Yes, part of you wants long, luscious, luxurious locks. No, I'm not there, but I cannot bring myself to go sit in that chair. I wish I looked good with bald head, because I just nair it off. I'd go get it cut, but I don't, because I've got knots all over my head, and I do not look good with shaved head. But we'll figure it out here soon. Okay, we have a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to talk about, and it's the title of tonight's show is continually being right gets tiring. And I know that sounds like really egotistical, and it is, and it sounds really like narcissistic, and it is, but it's also true. It's also very, 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 very true. Just being right so frequently is just... Now, I tell you, Robert, I tell you, I've talked about this several different times, that I used to, for such a long part of my life, I would go get a haircut every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, whether I needed it or not. And most of those times I didn't need it. No normal person needs a haircut every 2 weeks, but I would go and do that. And I at some point got to a point in my life, and I was like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. But now I'm to the point where I'm like, all right, 3 months is probably too long, so I need to figure some shit out. But we'll get that figured out, ladies and gentlemen. It's looking good tonight. It's looking good. I need to shave, get a little tamp down here. I'm gonna shave the whole thing off though. I don't do well at just like trimming it. So that's the problem. Yeah, right. Let it grow. Give up showering next. Yes. Hey, that is where we're going. In line with this talk politically tonight. Maybe it's an actual breakdown. We'll see. I don't know. So okay. Thank you for being here. Give us the thumb if you're so inclined. If you like the content, if you think that you'll like the content, hit that like button. Let us know that you love us. That would be fantastic. Yes, the MASH episode where they didn't bathe. I know exactly what you're talking about. Amazing. Amazing. Hit that like button. Give us that like if you're so inclined. We would love to see your thumb on the YouTube page. That would be so fantastic. If you are not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscriptions, they do not cost anything. Hit the subscription button, click the bell, do all of that stuff. Above all else, share the show with everyone you know and help spread the word. All right. So here's the deal. Yeah. Dad took my brother and I to the barbershop every other Saturday. Yeah, it's every 2 weeks. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So, I lived that life for such a long time, and I just got to the point where I was like, I don't need to come in here that frequently. And here's the deal. The guy that used to cut my hair that I absolutely loved, he died. And I never found anybody else that I cared for as much as that guy. And now I've got to the point where I just go to some hole in the wall, and they're always so busy. It's not me. If I could get in like at the barbershop and I could get in and it would be a 15-minute thing, I would do it, but it's never that. I've always got to go in and sit and wait, and it's like an hour-long process or hour, and I'm like, ugh. I don't. Most of the places that I would go to don't do appointments. I don't know, and so I don't know. We'll figure this out. I need to get it. The other thing is, I'm so tonight. I need a Floyd in my life. Absolutely, I had one of those. I had a Floyd, and I loved it. He did great. Didn't have to tell him what I wanted. I sit down. He knew what to do, and it was fantastic. And I'll be honest, then when he was gone a couple years ago, actually, back in right after like the big COVID scare, like when everybody started getting normal kind of again, so maybe like 2021 into 2022, I found a girl that was actually doing a decent job of cutting the hair, and I liked it. And every time I would go in, she knew what to do, didn't have to talk to her about it. But then she quit. All of a sudden I went in there one day and I was like, her name was Kira. And I was like, is Kira here? And they're like, no, she doesn't work here any longer. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I just left it. Well, then when I went in again, I was like, I know Kira's not here. Does anybody know where she went? And everybody was like, no. Like they were like real like put off. So I was like, oh, well, something bad must have happened. And then I was like, and I've been in this just funk ever since. So it is what it is. Okay. So enough hair care talk. It's time to get to it. So tonight, the reason I was going to get a haircut today, the whole reason that the haircut was going to be a thing today was because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, was the Delaware County Lincoln Day dinner. And I will tell you, a couple weeks ago, I was talking with Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey show, 93.1 WIBC. And Rob was going to go to the event tonight, and because he's not been allowed to go to a lot of other events. And so I got my ticket and did all that thing. And this was the first year that the Republican Party stated that they were not going to bar me or anyone else from coming in. They were going to allow people to come in. And I've had a pretty decent relationship with the new chairman of the party. I've got to say, he's been more open to talking. And he has been all right. So, okay, Ryan Webb is here. Great Lincoln Day dinner tonight. Sorry we missed you. So I'm going to talk about this for a little bit. So I was talking to Kendall, and he was going to come, and then I found out this morning that he was not going to be able to come. I had an appointment with my grandfather. We had a doctor's appointment, and it was a nothing. It was just a getting a cortisone shot in the shoulder and things like that. Find out some information. And so I just was to the point where I was like, man, I just really. Here's the deal. And I thought about how I was going to say this, because like I get along with Ryan, and I get along with a number of people that are in the local Republican Party, but there's so many of them that I don't get along with, and it's not for my fault. It's like from their side of things. They do things to make it awkward or make it strange. And I guess I'm starting to get to the point where for so long I've been fighting to like say, hey, I'm doing this whether you like it or not, and you can, we can create a friendship, and we can create a relationship, not a friendship, but a relationship where we can be cordial and we can communicate. And I'm to the point now where I don't give a damn about that anymore. I don't care about becoming friendly with Ridenour. I don't care if we wave or we see each other. What's interesting is we used to be real tight. I was supportive of him and whatnot. Then I started questioning him. But even into the first year of questioning him, we would still speak to each other when we entered a room. If he was sitting down, he would get up to come over and shake my hand. If I was sitting down before he came in, I'd get up and go over and shake his hand. Now we're to the point where both he and the people around him are just rude. They're allowed to be rude. I think they're almost encouraged to be rude. And it's almost gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't care if we have a relationship or not, because look, I didn't pick for you to be, well, I guess in Ridenour's case I did. I supported him, but and voted for him. Well, I didn't know. I don't vote in the city. Sorry. I supported other people to vote for him. Sometimes I even forget. I live right over the line. But I was very supportive of him and supported other people in supporting him, and pushed other people to vote, and yada, yada, yada. And so I'm to the point now where I'm like, You just have to do your job. We don't have to like each other. I don't care if you like me or don't like me. You have to do your job. I was reading a post. I was reading a post from Troy Tackett earlier. Let me see if I can find this. And this is what really tipped me over the line. Troy Tackett was talking to a citizen and said, did you ever think, because they were talking about being blocked from Dan Ridenour, and Troy Tackett said, did you ever think that you were blocked because of your constant bickering or questioning, all of these things becoming redundant? And if I was mayor right now, I would have you blocked as well. See how all you do is harass him with pictures and fake pictures, rhetoric. That's why you got stomped by your own party. Okay. And look, here's the deal. If someone is violently threatening, people can be stopped. If somebody is crossing the line, but if you're making satire, it's just part of the game. I mean, it is what it is. But specifically when people are asking questions and people are being blocked because they ask questions. When someone is blocked, because they ask legitimate questions of a political figure, that is not okay. I posted, the only problem with this, Troy, is it's not legal. It's not legal for what Ridenour to be doing. And I have the actual case that proves that, because it was me. I sued an elected official because that elected official attempted to block me from an official account where they engaged in discussion of a government business and shared that information. So it's perfectly legal for you to block anyone you want because you're a private citizen. Unfortunately for Dan, he decided to run for public office. It's just this kind of mindset that these people feel like people should feel sorry for them because they've decided to be where they are. And I can't get behind that. I just cannot. I can't get behind that. And I thought, nothing changes. If I go to this dinner, if I went to the dinner tonight, I would be going, first of all, yes, Aaron, I did. The judge found in favor of us. There's lots of different shows that you can go back and see if you're interested in watching any of that. Specifically, if people are interested, if you go to the YouTube channel and you go to our playlist, I see Aaron C's on Facebook. You're on Facebook. You're not getting the full treat. If anybody ever, if you go to the YouTube page, the Political Spotlight, we have playlists, and you can go to the playlist for the Henry County Sheriff John Sproles. It's something like that is the playlist, and you can find it there. But so there was basically the judge ruled in favor of us. There was, right in the middle of the time when I sued, when the suit went out, there was a landmark Supreme Court case that came down, and it basically gave us the leg up. And then the judge used that along with our documentation. There was just so much documentation, and we came out victorious. But it's like, okay, so what I have to do is to engage. That's, I said long ago, and I thought, man, that should be on a t-shirt. Like, no one should have to hire no one should have to hire an attorney to participate in their local government. So it's like, all right, well, to engage with this politician and to engage with this politician, I've got to sue them. And we have to go through a 2.5-year legal battle for us to be able to engage like normal human beings, because I'm not rude. I don't get on there and ever curse these people out. I'm never violent. I'm not talking about their families. Even when they allowed their personal bullcrap to come over, I do my very level best to be as straight up with it as possible and just talk about the political crap. And it's like they still are like, whatever. Yeah, but by not going, you make them think they win by keeping you away. And yes, I definitely understand what that thought. And there's been times where see, here's the thing. Like, if it was a government thing, nothing being discussed tonight was governmental. Like, I don't know if Ryan Webb is still here, but the word is, and I've got sources that were there and people that can talk to me. There was nothing being discussed of any real value tonight. Like Kate said, here's what this was this was a bunch of local, and understand me, I am a conservative. I'm a constitutional conservative. I'm a constitutional conservative leaning libertarian, a libertarian-ish leaning conservative, whatever you want to call it. Okay? If anybody there that hates me because I call them out at the local level, if they would stop talking about their own crap for a minute, and we were talking about national politics, or we were talking about what things that we believe, we would all pretty much agree on a bunch of stuff. Okay. And that's the whole thing with what's going on currently here in Indiana. And it's not just Indiana at the state level. It's also all the local stuff. It's what's going on in Muncie. It's what's going on in Anderson. It's what's going on in Newcastle. It's what's going on in Winchester. It's what's going on in Portland. It's what's going on in Hartford City. Everybody is a Republican. Everybody's a Republican. You have three commissioners at the county level. And in every county I just mentioned, they're all Republicans. The county council, they're all Republicans. The mayors of all those cities are all Republicans. Now, Indianapolis is a Democrat mayor, and Indianapolis is a shithole. That's a whole nother story. But for the majority in Indiana, I always tell somebody, dude, when you're mad at a politician in Indiana, unless you live in Indianapolis, chances are you're mad at a Republican. Anderson has become bad. Absolutely. That's right. That is right. I am so sorry for misspeaking. Yes, but everything else is Republican held. The Madison County commissioners are all Republican. The council is majority Republican led. So the mayor of Anderson is a Democrat. I apologize. That is true. I always forget about him. Yeah, tonight was just a get together. Tonight was just a thing for Republicans to just say, hey, we're all cool. You know, you're cool. I'm cool. We're all good. Everybody's good. Everybody's cool. Did you hear? Have you heard about the news coming out, Ryan, from Fox 59? About Beckwith. Grand jury investigating allegations of ghost employment, deepfake porn inside Micah Beckwith's office. Now, for the last couple of months, they've been saying, oh, this didn't happen. It did not happen. There's nothing to see here. It didn't happen. And there is no grand jury investigation. And today it is official. There is a grand jury investigation going on. That would have been interesting, Ryan. How did that come out? Grand jury investigating allegations of ghost employment, deepfake porn inside Micah Beckwith's office. Grand jury in Madison County is taking a closer look into allegations within Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith's office. A report filed by the Marion County Grand Jury confirms that the grand jury heard testimony on August 18th, September 30th, in the original investigation into the distribution of an intimate image or images and ghost employment in the office of the Indiana Lieutenant Governor. Same to you, brother. Nick Oldman. Very good. No additional details have yet to be provided on the specifics of the grand jury's hearings, as the files are currently under seal. However, if charges are filed in relation to the grand jury investigation, then those files would then be unsealed. The grand jury's report is the first mention of allegations of ghost employment within Beckwith's office. Ghost employment is most often a term used for payroll fraud. However, this is important, and this is what I have heard that they're looking for. A public servant can also be charged with ghost employment as a level 6 felony for assigning employees duties not related to their other government positions. And this is what I've heard that there are people that are looking at the office for. That there are people that they're just doing other things that they have not been assigned to, or that's not within their pay, their salary description. The allegations of distribution of intimate images within Beckwith's office stem from a previously reported claim that staffers within Beckwith's office had been sharing AI pornographic deepfake videos of a state representative's wife. First reported by 24 Site News, the alleged deepfake video was modified from an existing video of the wife of State Rep Craig Haggard, Republican from Indianapolis. Former advisor within Beckwith's office spoke with WIBC's Kendall and Casey show and claimed to have actually seen Beckwith staffers sharing this video around the office. Haggard acknowledged he has not seen the alleged pornographic video, but wants those responsible to be held accountable if should the video exist. I know we need to get to the bottom of it, Haggard said. If true, this is very, very serious allegation. I mean, it is a federal crime. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office announced in August that they were looking into the allegations. Beckwith, meanwhile, has dismissed the allegations and likened the accusations to having the characteristics of a witch hunt. As I started going down this process, there was nothing here, and I realized, do we have a video? Does anyone have? No, there's no video, Beckwith said. I couldn't find a video. I couldn't find anyone who's seen the video, and I quickly realized, okay, this has really got all the characteristics of a witch hunt. And here's the thing with this. Here's the thing. He or they did the investigation, as we've always stated, themselves in the matter of a day or 2 days. They did not call for anyone else outside the office to investigate, and that's not normally a good thing. Like, if I'm looking into my own wrongdoings, I didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Like, hey, nothing to see here. Everything's good. So that's interesting, Robert. He did. Casey's husband did work for Micah Beckwith. However, he resigned because he didn't like how this specific situation was being handled. He resigned and stepped away from that position because he claims have been made that he thought that, or that he stated that Beckwith was not taking his counsel. Her husband was the communications director of the office and was supposed to have been hired to help direct some of Beckwith's energy. Who Beckwith is a good speaker. He's capable of speaking. He's a preacher. You know, he's somebody that can hold a microphone and hold an audience. But this other guy, her husband, is somebody that's been in communications and has had schooling in this and yada, yada, yada. And he was supposed to help steer some of Beckwith's, crazy. And Beckwith just didn't allow that to happen. And then when all of this came to light, he was like, we got to, apparently do this, this, and this, and it wasn't followed. So he took off. The collective intellectual. That's very, very true. I think Micah is around influence that doesn't quite serve him well. And that is very true. And that is something that Micah was cautioned about. That is something that Micah was warned about, and there were people that legitimately tried to help to steer some of those bad influences away. And Micah was like, no, pushed all that stuff off. He didn't want to be a part of all of that. Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Robert. That's absolutely right. Well, here's the thing. That's what I said. And when I posted the story about this, about the Fox 59 story, I just said, surely Beckwith doesn't think that he's had a good first 10 months. He's not had a good first 10 months, right? Or does he think that he has had a good first 10 months? Is he as delusional as some of the sycophants that just refuse to say, okay, there's some major issues here? Like, even when it's not Beckwith's fault, even when it's not his fault, controversy seems to follow him and he falls into it, even when it's not his fault. And that's not good. When you're somebody that's capable of getting your own self in trouble, and you do frequently, and then on top of that, people around you get themselves in trouble that always slings back on you, that's not good. And I posted, in the near future, there will be 3 groups of Hoosiers. The first group, the biggest group, sadly, will be standing around scratching their heads wondering what happened. Reference Indiana's current joke of a lieutenant governor. These people will be completely caught off guard because they have all been so taken in by his used car salesman personality that they haven't been able to see that he is and has been nothing but a wolf in sheep's clothing. The second group of people, and it'll be a smaller group than the first, will say, see, we've been calling him out since shortly after the start of his term, when all of this madness started. They will be the people who come to see him for what he truly is, a wannabe looking for a shortcut to internet influencer fame and fortune. But then there will be a third and final group, which will be the smallest of all, and that will be a select few of us who will be able to say, we've called out Beckwith's bullshit from the start. And we'll welcome everybody to the same understanding finally. We'll never truly get how people could have been taken by the nonsense, but we won't make a big deal about it. We'll just be glad that everyone finally sees it for what it truly is. See, that's one of the things that I have always said here. I have no issue. I was talking to, who's it talking to? It wasn't, I was going to say Catherine, but it wasn't Catherine. I'm going to dime them out. It was either Catherine or Rachel. I think it was Rachel. I was just talking to Rachel the other night, and I said, some people cannot do it. I don't mind to be I can remember back in 2016, and I'm even going to dime this person out. It was Becky Purdy. I don't know if anybody knows you. If anybody listens from Winchester, is listening or will listen, you probably know Becky. Becky used to be a woman that would fight with me constantly publicly on Facebook about my thoughts about Sean Byram and about the whole deal over in Winchester that I was fighting about. And I used to tell her, time will tell. You might be right. I think I am, but I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I just used to say, time will tell. Time will tell. And it took 17, 18, 19. It took 3.5 years for me to be proven right, but I was eventually proven right. And let me tell you this, the rehab, that was a joke, and it was almost as bad. It's not, or excuse me, almost as bad. It wasn't as bad as what's going on with Dan Ridenour's rehab, but it was almost. What Ridenour's doing with his crisis center is worse than what Sean did. I will stand by that. I believe what Dan's done is worse than what Sean did. But it was almost as bad. They finally, was it this year, Kate, that they left? Did they leave out this year? They left out this year, 2025. So that's almost 10 years. I now get to go back, and it comes up on my Facebook memories every so often, some of my fights with Becky Purdy. I now get to go back and say, see, I was right. And it's taken me 9 years. 9 years. But I'm okay with that. There are some people that can't do it. They got to be right in the now. And I don't have a problem with that. I can be like, I'm right. And everybody can be laughing at me and telling me I'm an idiot and telling me I'm wrong. I don't need to be proven right today. I don't need to be proven right tomorrow. I don't need it next year. If I'm right, I'm right. And that's it. And so when there are people who started out hating me, or they liked me, then they started hating me. But either way, they at some point they hated me. And then after 3 months, 6 months, a year, couple years, they've come around and they've been like, you know what? You were right. And I don't ever go, ha ha, you idiot, you fool. Look, I was right. I always say, oh, no big deal. I'm glad you're here. Cool, thanks. And I welcome them to the side of righteousness, because that's what you have to do. You can't be like, oh, you were, when anybody just sees the light, you just say, okay, well, welcome. So, hate that it took you so long, but I'm glad you're here. That's what you got to do. Vindication has no statute of limitations. I like that. I like it. No, Charlize, it is not. The crisis center is open. People are getting paid to be there. City of Muncie's still paying for utilities. There's people that are there. There's some people that go there. It is not operational yet. And it's not operational to the point that they told us it would be. And I asked an employee there a couple of months ago when it would be operational to the point that right now are first promised. And she said it's not ever going to be. It's never going to be to level where A, B, and C is happening. So Braun went to this Lincoln Day dinner tonight. I maybe he talked about the redistricting. Maybe he didn't. You know, what are we going to do? We're going to get all Republicans in the state of Indiana. We're finally going to get rid of Andre Carson. Andre Carson, I'm not a big fan of Andre Carson. But what are we going to do with 2 or 3 more Jefferson Shreves or another Houchin? You know, these people are goofballs. They're not Charlie's. These people are goofballs. You know, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do it. They're going to be part of the whole deal. You know, what's his name? Andrew Ireland, the Indiana General Assembly. He's a state representative. Is Ireland a state representative? He's a state rep. Yeah. I knew he wasn't a senator. He's been somebody I've been a fan of, but he's real supportive of this. He's fighting for this and doesn't, you know, and he knows it's just a political game. And I guess that's at least he's admitting that, but Kendall's been giving him a hard time because he came on the show Monday morning. Kendall was out Monday morning and Casey and her husband were interviewing him and he gave just this political answer and Kendall was giving him a hard time. And the whole thing is like what Kendall asked was, okay, you're going to be called into this special session here on November 3rd. On November 3rd, they're going to be called into this special session. Are they going to spend any time trying to do anything that helps Hoosiers? That truly helps Hoosiers? Are they going to try to tackle the completely fouled up property tax ordeal? And his answer was like, yeah, no, we're not going to look at that. We're not going to look at that. And Rob's like, why not? Why are you not looking at that? You know, it wasn't last night because we weren't here. I don't know what this is. Sir Balmond. All night last night, I was like, how did this idiot get a wrench? Who gave this idiot a wrench? And then I just realized, oh, this guy's not an idiot. I know who this guy is. I didn't know who that was. I couldn't see what the little picture was until I just looked at it here. And as soon as I saw that little face on there, I knew. I knew it. Yeah, Ireland's answers were a bunch of bullshit yesterday. Rob is all about tax reform, rightfully so, of course, yes. I don't know why my name changed. Yeah, you mean it just changed? It changed without you doing something to it? That's wild. Hey, and listen to me, people. I guess this is something that don't bother the rest of you. I am trying to work. Listen. For all of you that are here now watching in the live, I'm glad that you're here now watching in the live. for anybody that watches via replay in the future, I am working, I swear, I promise to you, we are working behind the scenes on trying to fix the advertisement thing. We are not putting on there 500 advertisements for the show. We only want 2 or 3 at the most. If it's a 2-hour show, probably have three 10-minute little ads, 10, 15-second, 30-second ads, not 10 minutes, Jesus. But Brandon is the only one that ever bitches, which I guess I'm glad, because I imagine 30, I don't need 30 messages from people, but I'm just letting you know, if you're bothered by that, if you're somebody that watches and you get all that, we're trying to fix it. I had it fixed for 3 days, and then we found out yesterday that it somehow got unfixed again. So I'm working on it. I promise. We are trying to fix it. So I'm glad that Brandon lets us know. I want any of you to let me know if you notice that, but at least Brandon lets us know. SNAP funding has dried up just in time for the holidays. Yeah, when is this federal government? I went into the gun store. I'll tell you, to find out about getting a compressor, getting my. Can Niles do that? Do they have somebody at their store that can help with getting the stamp? Do you know? Kate, ask him if he does. Because I was in there just getting some ammunition, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. And so if Niles can do that, whoever, I don't know if they could do that. I know that they gotta have a certain thing, but I was told that you might as well not worry about it now, because they're not processing it because of the shutdown. And I'm like, oh my God, the shutdown has finally affected me. Now we got to get this shit on the ball, or else I'm going to have to cut a piece of pipe out of the fencing and make it myself. The collective intellectual. That's interesting. I think Newcastle store does that. Okay, that might very well be. Well, I don't know how much it is, and I don't know if it's worth it. I think it's only like $3 a month. And normal people probably aren't on YouTube as much as I am, because it's like what we do, but I have YouTube Prime, which you don't see any ads. And that was part of the problem for such a long time. I wasn't knowing it because I don't get ads because of YouTube Prime. But some people's like, I'm not paying that. That's nonsense. Anyways, back to it. So I think Beckwith is in trouble with this situation, what they're dealing with. And to follow up with what we were talking about on Sunday, I told you guys that I was going to get the probable cause sheet on the kid, and I gotta correct his name. We were calling him, and I blame this totally on Catherine. Catherine called me, and she's the one that told me Jonathan Paternal, but it's they pronounce it Peter Neal. So, I mean, I guess it looks that way. So, Catherine, were you on Sunday? Did you listen to me talk about all of that? the deal with I can't even call him that now. Jonathan Peternell. Such a stupid name. Well, yeah, it does. Well, so here's the thing. With this deal with Peternell, I got my hands on the probable cause affidavit. And I tell you what, let me tell you this. I told you everything for a Sunday night show. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What in the absolute hell are you talking about? It was a 2.5 hour show, and that Peternell story was 10 minutes of it. Get out of here. Listen to this. I got that probable cause affidavit. I filed a record request with the Madison County Prosecutor's Office on Sunday evening at like 11:30 when I got off of the show. And they had answered my record request by 9:00 Monday morning. By 9:00 Monday morning. I could not believe it. I was shocked at how quickly they had responded to my request. Now, I have told you guys, I generally put out, if it's a public document, I generally put it out and I say, listen, I'll put a warning up here. I'll put a warning up there, and I lay it out there and say, look, read at your own risk. But I'm not going to put this document out. If you want to read this document, if you want to see it, you can contact me and I will send it to you. You know, if you're of age. I mean, it's a public document, but I will send it to you. And what you do with it's your deal, but I will put it out there. But it was I just feel like putting it out there just is a further violation. And it is very, very, very bad. So the collective intellectual, what they're talking about is Devin Norrick is an attorney in the Beckwith administration. Devin Norrick is an attorney that works inside his office. He's one of Beckwith's friends, and Devin Norrick, Nathan Peternell, Micah Beckwith, and a bunch of other people in that office all attend the same church. They all attend the same church. And he's hired there. Now, oddly enough, Devin Norrick is one of the guys that's under investigation for looking at and sharing the AI pornographic video. The crew. So he's one of the guys that was looking at this video of this pornographic video. And then this Jonathan Peternell tells the court that he's going to hire Devin Norrick to be his attorney. Now, I will tell you, I have heard that Devin Norrick has turned down this case. So this is some breaking news that you're hearing here. I have heard that Devin Norrick has said, no, I'm not going to be representing Jonathan. So that's good. Now, I don't care. Devin Norrick is he's a dirtball. He's involved in all of this. He's up to it with his eyes. He is not the individual that I thought he was to be involved with all of this crap. He's right there along with him. Sounds like he's in a position where he could highly likely be needing an attorney himself very, very soon. So, he deserves all of the heat and all of the crap that comes with everything that's going on with this. But I did want to let everybody know, because I told you I would let you know about that probable cause affidavit. And let me see. Let me see. I'm looking here. I scheduled a meeting with Micah and him and Dan, and a Dan guy diverted me and started emailing me wanting to meet me. I wanted to meet with Micah about something in his purview, yet they lied to me. Well, that does not surprise me. That does not surprise me at all. There's some weird stuff going on in that office. It's just really, really strange. If you want me to, Stumblefoot, I'll send you that document. It's very gross. It's not the worst probable cause affidavit that I've read, but it's up there. And keep in mind, I worked sex crimes as a police officer. I did sex crimes for about 6 months, maybe right out of about a year. And it was horrible, but this probable cause affidavit was very bad. I don't know that Devin is necessary. I'm not connecting Devin to the Peter Nail stuff. I'm not connecting him to that. I'm just connecting to him to all of the other weirdness that seems to follow Beckwith and all that crap. But Devin is highly, absolutely, totally implicated in the alleged deep fake AI porn. In the collective. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that anybody can say we know for a fact somebody's not a pedophile. I don't know that anybody can say that. Like, I'm not comfortable saying that now, knowing I can't say one way or another. I just know what I'm responsible for. I'm gonna say that. I'm the only person that I can say I know 100%. The rest of you people out there, I don't know what you freaks are doing. That being said, when you run, like Adam said, you No, Charlize. It's a public document that I'm sending. It's a public document. It's court document. It's nothing. It's not. No. It's not like I could, like, there are news sources out there that would probably publish it. But I'm just saying I don't feel comfortable publishing it. It's just a regular probable cause affidavit. Nothing is sealed. If it would have been illegal or improper, the way I got it was through a record request. anybody can call, or anybody could write and request it. It's just hard to, a lot of people don't go through that process. It's difficult. So, I'm not going to send this out there to a kid, but if there's someone in the audience that wants to read through this, some people are, like to know what's going on and want to get fully involved on, I wouldn't, if Kim Burrell messaged me, I wouldn't be like, no, I'm not going to send it to you. Devin's the only person that would know that for a fact. Yeah, that is definitely true. Yeah. So, the whole thing that, and this has kind of been a weird show, but what I've been talking about is just, this is the feeling that I've had about Micah, and I'm not saying, and I want to be very clear for the record, I'm not calling Micah a pedophile. I am not saying that. Micah has not connected to this case. There is nothing that connects Micah to the case. What connects Micah here, and the issue is, and this is something else that I found out today, was that after these allegations were made about Jonathan Peternell, that the Peternell family continued to go out and around public and was taking Jonathan to church and being around other children and things like this. And, that's kind of a strange thing. And then to know that these people have such a major influence over Beckwith, that is something that is concerning. I'll be honest. If I was a member of the church, I would be concerned knowing that I was going to this church. Hell, if you've got kids that you're sending off to Sunday school, I would be concerned. And this guy is a heartbeat away from the governor's office. So that's something that definitely needs to be looked at. It's just like we were talking about on Sunday. These are highly delicate topics and things that were being talked about here, but it has to be looked at because of the positions that these people are in. Now, I am going to talk a little bit. I cannot the Noblesville Church, Catherine. Now, Jonathan and Josh, wait, back up, intellectual. I got to figure out what I'm going to call you. I think I'm going to call you the Collective. I think that just goes easy. I'm going to call you the Collective. That's what I'll call you. So, or Collective. So you're saying Kathy Peternell fell and cracked her head open pretty bad. I mean, that's horrible. 3 weeks ago. You said Jonathan and Nathan's mother. Jonathan is the son of Nathan. So is Kathy Jonathan's grandmother? Because Nathan's wife, I think's name is like Chrissy or something. I think Nathan's wife is Chrissy or Christy or something like that. And Jonathan's the son. So Kathy would be like the grandma, it sounds like, if that's what you're saying. Right. Whatever. And so let me look. I'm getting a couple messages here. So hold on. We're getting what are we? Right. So are you saying Christy's the one that fell and busted her head? while the collective is, Jonathan's like 24, 22, 23, 24-ish. And so I before I want to see what's going on here. So just for anyone that was not here Sunday or didn't see Sunday, I'll just give you a just quick run through. So apparently Jonathan had several, over 200, which really in the world. Okay, yeah. All right. So in the world of sex crimes, 200 is not a lot. Most of these people have thousands. So I don't know if he's just getting involved or what the deal is. But look, one is too many. You know what I mean? So let's just get that straight. But he had about 200 files broken up over various devices of child abuse, child sexual abuse content. And I want to be clear, reading the probable cause affidavit, a lot of these people, and any of it's bad, any of it is bad. A lot of these people will just have pictures showing the child, like undressed or whatever. And that's bad. It's gross. It's no good. But what Jonathan had was to a whole nother level. It was depraved, total, heinous, gross, depraved, horrible. I just, that's how I would describe it. So it's wild that you would have a young kid just getting involved in this, having this. But then the other thing is, I can't say it enough. It was horribly depraved, not depraved, horrible, depraved crap. But along with this, which is also bizarre and weird, he also had up to 50 files of pictures or videos of his parents in intimate time. And so that's weird. And the weird thing, I've heard more about the video that went out at the church, that they put out at church, and I, in the video that we talked about the other day, it said that the father, Nathan Peter Neal, talked about, the fact that, husband and wife can, in a relationship, it's not a sin, yada yada. But then there was the article that I was reading from, the documentation that I was reading from, talked about how he made mention to, however it could be questioned on, recording it or whatnot. But I heard today that the statement that was actually made talked more about, it could be questioned about almost how it came to be, and that there were parishioners there were congregants that were there at the church that were, the way that it was brought up to them in that video almost made it seem like he was talking about the fact that Jonathan had it, almost like Jonathan recorded it. So it wasn't things that they recorded. It was something that Jonathan recorded. And we just start getting into whole levels of other weirdness. And someone else also said, you got to keep in mind, before Beckwith was lieutenant governor and running for lieutenant governor, he was sitting on a library board trying to talk about, burning this book or not having this book or whatever, these people become very, very preachy and holier than thou. And it's very easy for them to judge all these other people. But then it's like, what are they getting up to here? So there's just a lot of very serious questions that people need to be asking over the next several days, weeks, months, and possibly a year. And I would, if I attended this congregation, I would be looking elsewhere first and foremost. If I worked for the Beckwith administration and I wasn't involved in any of this, I would maybe be looking for job elsewhere. And for those of us that are citizens of Indiana, I think that we need to be looking elsewhere for our leaders, for the people that are supposed to be in these quote unquote leadership positions. Go back to what Donald Rainwater said, I'm a grown ass man. I don't need a leader. I need an elected political figure. I need someone who's going to be I need a public servant, not a leader. And so I think that, and Beckwith seemed like he has that whole, like, I'm going to be the leader and I'm going to tell you to do this and do that and do this. It's like, nah, do your job and only your job, and don't have a bunch of weirdos running around you, and don't be a weirdo, that kind of thing. But it's just, that's the reason I titled the show what it said, because I've thought about this. I thought that this was weird. And back when Beckwith was comparing J.D. Prescott to the men and women, well, not women. Was there women that died at D-Day? No women. No women died. To the men, I just say that. I say that men. You say men and women a lot. Back when Beckwith was comparing Prescott to the men that died at D-Day, because he was putting together a law, that whatever, because he would sometimes go differently than what other people think, or what, I don't even know why he was comparing him to that, but he literally said that he compared him to the people that died at D-Day. And it was like, dude, you are on another planet. And Stumblefoot, that's the thing that's crazy. Did your name change? You haven't always been Stumblefoot D9J. What is that about? What is going on with all these names? Are people's names changing? I'd say duty, meaning sworn. Yeah, absolutely. Karen, absolutely. What? Oh, sorry. So, that's that. But it's just, sometimes it gets tiring, because then being right about these people makes you the bad guy, and it makes these people not, I was thinking about it funny when we were talking, I was talking to these people, YouTube updated and is using the @ name instead of the nickname. Know who's an awesome guy in that realm? DJ, I don't even know who you're talking about. Who are you talking about? I had to go in and manually change mine. Okay. Wait, so what is our name? What's type? Oh, it's just the political spotlight. Okay. Well, we're bad. Oh, you're typing on here. Let me go see if I type on YouTube what it comes out to be. That's interesting. Anyways, hello. Oh no, it's just at the political spotlight. what do you mean though? He's good in that realm. What are you talking about? He's good in what? He's good in what way? Charlize, probably. Dress like us and talk like us. I can't, whatever that song is, Eminem song, I forget. I was trying. Anyways, now you guys are all, yes. What you got to do in order to test it is you have to write testing and you have to click the like and let us know. Okay. I get what you're saying. Collective. Frank Wilson, a long time ago, said, have you heard the Henry County Jail has no running water? Been like that for a day from what I've heard. I have not heard that. That's the other thing I was going to talk about. I wanted to talk. He's really a decent guy. I hate to hear that because it's like, one decent guy and a whole bunch of other chaos around you can make you look bad. I hate that. Hopefully he is a good guy and people around him know that. That's good. But I did want to address last night. I told you guys last night that we didn't have a show last night because I had some sources that reached out to me that couldn't wait. And because of work and things, they had to talk to me when they had to talk to me, and I didn't want to miss that. And I got some rather good information. It is information pertaining to the situation in Henry County, specifically pertaining to the sheriff's department. I unfortunately am not at a position where I can release the information last night that I got at this point, but it's going to be coming very soon. The pieces are falling into place. I will, it was definitely worth it. I got information that was definitely worth it. Matter of fact, the pieces are falling into place and in very quick order, we're going to be able to have, and the reason that person got in contact with me was because I had put the call out the night before on Sunday and said, look, if anybody out there knows something, and so somebody that was watching knew somebody that knew something, and they got in touch with me. And I will tell you that we are on the right path. I'll tell you that. And Callahan says, so the question will be, will Sproles win a second term? And I will tell you that's interesting because I was talking to somebody about that today. So first and foremost, first thing that has to happen, somebody's got to run against him. And I will tell you that I knew of a person that was going to run against him. I knew of a person who had already talked about it, who had already started reaching out to donors and getting people lined up, and they were ready to roll and make a hard run at winning that sheriff's office. And this person would have been, I'm sure there would have still been some questions about this person, but I'm going to tell you just right up front, it's not Landon Dean. It was a person that would have been a Republican, and the person was going to primary Sproles, and the people that were backing him were telling him, like, it's going to be tough, but we think that you can make this run, and we think that it's possible, and this person was going to do it. And then when all of the documentation came out about the lawsuits, when all of that happened, this person was not named, but the name appeared in the suits. And the person's backers said, we can't back you no more. We're not going to back you. So that kind of fell out. So that ended that. So for the last several months, I've been hearing no one was going to be running against Sproles. Sproles was going to be the only Republican winning. And then people were talking about, well, if a Democrat runs, it don't matter. Democrat's not going to beat Sproles. That's just not going to happen. Not in Newcastle, not in Henry County. So it seemed like Sproles was basically shoe in for another term. But today, I have now heard of another person that is giving serious consideration to running. And with everything going on in Sproles' world, with everything Sproles has done, this person could stand a very good shot at beating him in a primary. And so I'm pretty certain that Sproles is now going to have at least one Republican challenge. And I think that Sproles can be beat. I think there was a point, even with all the weirdness, I was going to say I don't think Sproles could be beat. But now with all of the weirdness and with all of the stuff that he's done in the last 3 years, up to and including what's now happening, I think a person could win. Someone needs to rescue Henry County. And I think, because keep in mind, folks, it's November. November's here. I mean, and what that means is November's gone. It's December. And what that means is it's already basically January 2026. And so that means we're done now. We're to the point where someone has to have decided and someone has to file to run. And literally the worst thing of all time is the period from filing opening until filing closing. That's the worst period of all time. And then as soon as that period closes, getting all the documents and looking through everything and making sure that everybody has done what they're supposed to do, that's a big, big thing. Maybe they can get a sheriff and that lowers the insurance premiums. Is McCord still on the bench there in Henry County? I'm not from Henry County. Thank God. I can't tell you. Let me see. County, Indiana. Anybody from Henry County that can answer the question is McCord still a judge in Henry County? Looks like we've got Witham, Crane, McCord. McCord is still on. David McCord. He's in Circuit Court 3. Williams. No, that's the executive director. No. So we've got McCord, Crane, Witham. Hey, and listen to this. On the other show, we just talked about this on the other show. So for those of you that haven't seen, for those of you that have not watched the Bilbrey and Clark show, what are you doing? Go over there, watch it. It's worth a watch. For those of you that haven't watched that, who would be calling me right now? Why would somebody be calling me right now? They don't know that I'm live on the show. Hello. I almost ought to show who this is, but I'm not going to. Anyways, that would serve them right. I won't. Witham just made a really bad deal there. He accepted a plea bargain that allowed a child molester well, I appreciate that, Stumblefoot. Just allowed a child molester to go, I guess, on home detention, and it just real bad situation there. So, man, there's so much problems everywhere, man, and it feels so overwhelming. It feels so overwhelming. And I just like the thing is, it would be one thing if I felt like the people were like getting together and they were really, because it doesn't make sense, because I know that there are people that are out here that are mad, that are pissed off, and then we'll go to the May primary and like 6% will come out and vote. 11% will come out and vote. You know, and then we'll go into the general and we'll have piss poor turnout again. And I'm like, I don't understand that, man. What is happening? So yeah, Eric, it totally crazy. And look, and as I was telling Rachel, everybody shares that blame. He could have not taken it. The prosecutor's office also shares in that blame. I don't understand why that would have happened. And just, but it's something that's happening all over. It's not happening, just in here. Now, I will tell you, it's not happening. That does not happen like that in that situation. There's things that people want to bitch about in Delaware County. That's fine. But you're not seeing a child molester getting off for, where they could be doing 40 years in prison, but instead they're getting 10 years house arrest. Bullshit. That is wild. So it is what it is. I am working on, hopefully tomorrow we will have some information about records. You know what? I haven't had Catherine on in a minute. And I know that those of you are going, oh my God, no, not Catherine. Depends on what goes on with the city of Muncie. We'll either have Catherine or the city of Muncie. So for those of you that are like, no, not Catherine. I'm kidding. Hope and pray and call and bitch and that I get some information from the city of Muncie. I should hopefully get that tomorrow. I'll let you know if I do. Well, you'll know on the top of the show. You'll have to watch because it'll be posted. If you'll see Catherine's head on the screen, it'll be Catherine's show. If her head's not on, it will be a Muncie show. Or if something else happens out of the blue. I will say, oh yeah, see, she said she's right there. She's still right there. See, sometimes I think, oh, she gets on and is gone at the end. She don't ever hang around, but she is still there. It's like Beetlejuice. You say her name and she appears. I will say this. If you want the probable cause affidavit, message me, or those of you that have said it, I'll send it to you. But it's definitely not a good thing. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll find out if anything crazy happened at the Lincoln Day dinner. I've talked to a couple sources, and sounds like it was just the same old get together. Braun got up there and spit a bunch of bullshit. He's such worthless. We got to make him a one term. Hey, collective, thank you. And we really enjoy you here. I don't know who you are. If you are interested in following me on social media, you can follow me or shoot me a message. I don't ever dime people out, so whatever. If you want to stay hidden under your screen name, you can do that too. Either way, but we really enjoyed your commentary and playing with us. We talked to you. This was kind of a blah show. It gets better from here, I promise you. It's been kind of crazy. I let Braun. Oh, that's so strange. Okay, collective, I get it. So let me tell you this. And I didn't tell Catherine this earlier, but I have an uncle that passed away whose name was Scott King. So that's really strange. Really, really strange. Hey, my grandmother's still here. Hey, I'll see you guys in the morning. I'll be over early. I didn't know you were still here. Weird. Good night. You guys, good night. I hope everything's okay with Grandpa's arm. I'll see you guys in the morning. Yeah, Braun is no good. And tomorrow's show will be a better show, I promise. So tune in. You guys take care. God bless. Have a great evening. Bedtime, I guess. Have a great day tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow for episode 548. And we'll see what goes on from there. Okay. Good night. Gotta figure out how to kill it.